Something happened today, and now I'm making Southern banana pudding, vegan style. And it's, yeah, well, okay, so let me tell you what happened. I know I'm going to be chatty for just a little bit and then we'll get on with the recipe. But let me tell you what happened. I went to the store today because I plan on making Hawaiian-inspired dinner tomorrow. Like, I want to make tofu musubi, you know, like spam musubi. It's like the spam sushi, but I want to make it with tofu. And I want to make kalua tacos with the pineapple salsa. But as I was driving home in 100-degree weather, it's not fun here right now, and I was stuck in traffic, I realized, frickin' forgot the jackfruit. So frustrating. But then, because I train my creativity. I train my creativity in the kitchen. Like, every day, it becomes my kind of like default. I default to problem solving. I immediately went into problem solving mode. And I started thinking, oh, my friend Leanne, she was telling me about making shredded meat with banana peels. And I've been meaning to do that, and I haven't done that, but I do have 5 bananas that are getting ripe. Problem solved. I'll just make my vegan kalua pork with banana peel and just try that for the first time. I was thinking, okay, well, I need to get the bananas out of the peels. What am I going to do with them? Well, I can freeze them to make smoothies. I can make banana bread, which I don't really like. But then I thought, oh, my favorite dessert in the whole world is Southern banana pudding. I could just make Southern banana pudding. Yeah, yeah. So yes, yeah. All right, well, let's get going. We need to make the cookie. I already kind of knew what I was going to do. I already planned. I know this is impromptu, but I already kind of planned the ingredients. Some of the measurements, I don't know yet, but they will be in the recipe. I know that I'm going to be using ½ cup of almond butter. And this is a cup of oats. I'm going to use ½ teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to use a pinch of these spices, and we're flavoring it with maple. And I already have the oven set for 350 degrees. Doing the oats, I just want to get them floured down before I add anything else. Okay, that's good. See, it's not flour. Some of it is flour, and some of it are like bigger textural chunks of oats. So we'll put the almond butter in there. I want it to have like a kind of a Biscoff flavor, which is kind of like a graham cracker flavor, but a little bit more complex. So we're doing some cinnamon. We're putting about ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. Some of my spices are whole, and I don't trust my food processor to grind them down. So we're gonna take a couple cloves, just a couple. We don't want it too strong in the clove department. I wanna do cardamom. I love cardamom. We're gonna do 2 pods. You see how the cardamom is? It's like a little rat turd. Do another one. Just these little tiny things here. We're just gonna grind it up. Put that in there. Get it all in there. Okay, a little nutmeg. A pinch. A little anise. Not much. Just like that much, just a tiny bit. Teaspoon of vanilla, ½ teaspoon of baking powder, which I'm not really measuring. A couple tablespoons. Whoa. That was it, a couple tablespoons. A little bit of miso. This is white miso. Instead of salt, this will give it a depth, about that much. ½ teaspoon. Might be a little wet. It's gonna be fine. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put a little ginger in there. So good. About this much. If you have powdered ginger, you can use that instead. I took the blades out. Duh. I'm gonna put a little bit more maple syrup. Now we're gonna just plop it down in the middle of that. We're not gonna make it into cookies. We're just gonna make one big cookie. This is my towel. This is what, we don't have paper towels in our house because we try to be sustainable. If you are using a baking sheet, I would put down some parchment paper instead. But these are pretty well seasoned pans, so I don't need to do that. They're the only pans I cook with. I just use them and they stay seasoned. I never put them away dry, wet. So good. I almost want to put coconut in it. Get this wet. Alrighty. Middle of the rack. 12 minutes. Now we can make our pudding. So this is something that is good to make the day before you want it, or at least 4 hours before, because it needs to set in the fridge. A 16-ounce package of silken tofu, which you can just blend up with some vanilla and some kind of sweetener, and there you have it. You have basically a pudding or a custard, and it's really good. That's what I do with my overnight oats, like all the time. Instead of using yogurt, I use silken tofu, and I might like zest some lime in it or some lemon in it, put in some maple syrup, a little vanilla, and then I just soak my oats with that and a little bit of milk. Ah, it is so good. The texture, it's like pudding. It's so good. I really love it. Yeah, you could do that. You could actually mix this in with a little bit of oat flour like we just made, and it will be a thicker pudding. But I'm gonna do a cornstarch pudding. I like a more traditional style of Southern banana pudding. 6 tablespoons of tapioca starch, a cup of soy milk, a little miso. I'm using this as a salt replacer, and because it's just so tasty in sweet things. Vanilla, and our sweetener, which is maple syrup. I am actually going to take our 6 tablespoons of tapioca starch and our milk, and I'm gonna go blend it in my Vitamix just to get it all blended. That way I'm not dealing with lumps. Just gonna pour it in here. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. It doesn't feel like quite enough liquid. We're doing another cup of milk. 2 cups of milk in here. Probably should be using a whisk because it's sticking to the bottom a little bit, and I need to kind of whisk everything up and keep it from getting lumpy. Probably 1/2 teaspoon of miso in there. I radically changed this recipe from 1 cup of milk to 2 cups of milk. If it doesn't thicken up like it should, I could just add more tapioca starch and add more sweetness and vanilla and miso. So I can adjust it. You just kind of taste it as I go and adjust it that way. But don't worry, I will write down exactly what I did and put that in the recipe. Put in about 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, that looks so good. Wow! I get so excited for this. And that miso is really good. I'm putting a little bit more maple syrup in it. Got 3 tablespoons now. So that miso gives it even a little nutty flavor. I'm not gonna say butterscotch, but it kind of goes in that direction. 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. That's about 1/4 cup. It needs a little bit more miso. I have to remember we're gonna put bananas in it too. Okay, cookie might be ready. I'm just gonna kind of break it up a little bit. So it's almost like granola. So it will just get done faster and we'll get more browning. Oh, it's heavy. Okay. 5 more minutes. And then I'm gonna put a little nutmeg in it. I'm gonna put them in these, and I thrifted these. So if you want like really good like things for desserts, go to the thrift store. That's like the best way to get things like this. I'm gonna let this cool separately. We're not gonna assemble it yet. We're gonna let it cool first, because I actually wanna make a little bit of a whipped cream to kind of blend into it to make it a little lighter. And I'm gonna make that whipped cream with coconut cream, but we're not gonna do that just yet. We're gonna let this cool, then I'll come back and put it all together. So we're just gonna put this down in here. Put this down here so we don't get a skin on our pudding, and put this in the fridge for a few hours or overnight. Let's go for another 5. Once the cookies are done, I'm gonna let them cool, and then I'm gonna put them away. We'll come back tomorrow and I'll make the whipped cream, and then I will fold it into the pudding, and we will assemble our Southern banana puddings, and I'm so excited. I had this in there for about 22 minutes. If you're wondering why I'm not just gonna put whipped topping made of this stuff on top of the pie, it's because it's just going to be so little. It's just going to be like a thin amount. You have to use a lot of coconut cream to get that kind of, you know, fluffy whipped cream look. So I'm just going to blend it in, and you'll get all the richness, because this is really rich. This is richer than it's just going to be really rich. I've got something itching me. So that's why I'm going to fold this in, because you'll just get more bang for your buck that way. You'll get all the flavor, you'll get the whole experience of it, and it will look beautiful and lush instead of just having this like sad little thin layer of whipped topping. I just want to assemble it all now. It's been setting for about an hour and I think it's good enough. So we're just using this itty bitty can. It's all basically the thick fatty part of it. That's all it is. It's like fat. So this is what it looks like. See, it's like really thick. Throw it in here. But there is some water in there. A little vanilla, as much as you want. I put in, sweeten it however you want it. However, like some people, like it just depends on how sweet you want the finished product to be. It's too liquidy. I'm going to put it in the freezer for a little bit. Honestly, you know what I should do? I should take the custard, the banana pudding, the vanilla custard that I make, and put it in my ice cream maker. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's cold now. You can see it's cold. Hopefully this will work. Cream is not whipped creaming, and I don't know why. Plan B. Just buy this, and it will be awesome. and then you could just like put fluffy whipped cream on top of it. I am going to make a frozen banana pudding. Why not? I'm gonna throw that in there, like all of it. Wait, it's like kind of, we need to mix it up a little bit, kind of get it started. And we can't forget the bananas, oh my Lord. I think it's good enough. This is amazing. The texture is so good. Oh my God, look at that. I can't believe I just made Southern banana pudding ice cream. Did not plan on making ice cream, but I was just solving problems. And as I solved problems, I came up with creative solutions, which went from me wanting to make jackfruit Kahlua pulled pork to making freaking vegan ice cream. It's so good. Wow. And I could have just said, oh, screw it, it's all effed up. But no, I pushed on. I pushed on, and now I'm eating ice cream. Vegan ice cream. That tastes better than anything you can find in the store. I promise you. Okay, bye.